YouTube fans, here again. And I figure, why not? Let's go now into 1984 when it comes to the 80s marathon. Say it again, 1984. Now, let's get into the third outing of Star Trek, that being the search for Snot. Okay, I'm being funny. The search for Spock. This is a good outing, a very good outing. So at first, when Star Trek, The Wrath of Time, the second one, come out in 82, there was always that debate, did they really have to kill Spot off? And there was always that debate that we would have left an opening for him. If you ever remember the ending of The Wrath of Time, before Spot self-sacrifices himself, says Dr. Bones' face, it says, "You will remember." And then sacrificed himself. So people was crying, they were crying away for, did you have to kill Spot? We didn't have to kill, should have killed Spot, blah, 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 blah. So, funny thing is, James Seymour, may he rest in peace, decided to direct this one. Not only did he star in it, nearly at the end, he directed Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock, in 1984. So, because people begged that much, decided to resurrect him. Money talks, and not only does money talk, in sci-fi, you can do anything. Unlike maybe Dias, when they resurrected Batsy Duffy as Bobby in a shower scene after getting run over by a car. With this, you could get away with it because it's sci-fi, so it's not silly. It's not like Captain T. Turk's going to wake up and find Dr. Spock having a shower. You know what I mean? It's sci-fi. You can do anything in sci-fi, and it shows it. So you got that day epic music, what they used in The Wrath of Time. You also use it in this, the same theme music. And then you got the afterthoughts, the Enterprise, which is badly blowing up a little bit from what happened in The Wrath of Time. And you've got Captain Turk again, played by my favourite actor, Ian, if I remember his name, Ian Atner. That's right, Ian Atner. So Ian Satner, Ian Satner passes his roles as Captain T. Sturck. So he's upset, he's grieving after the death of Dr. Spock. And they find the Enterprise to the Enterprise pace itself, where all the captains and people who are above the captain want to see him. They want to get rid of the Enterprise now. The Enterprise is old. You got the idea they're all getting on a bit now. It's the word at the time. That's why a lot of people laugh when the movies come out. They always called it the Dan Dads. Because at the time, you know what I mean, Ian Satner was in his 50s. Most of them were either in the 60s. And so they was pushing on a bit to play the sci-fi classic episodes we remember from the 60s when it came to the TV series. But I still like it, I still like it. And it's sort of sad because it's sort of like a death of the Enterprise in this one. You do get one actress, if you ever think you've seen her, she was in the 60s Star Trek series, from the first series aired, from the very early ones. She does make a small test appearance in it. So the one Dr. Spock's dad comes in, he told him he shouldn't have done it. Before you had that, he do some bits off the second Star Trek film, where the bit where he touched his face and Spock says, "You will remember." So he does the mind warp. Now, normally in the later films, I thought that looked stupid, it looked daft, but I sort of went with this. So Dr. Spock's daddy, which I always thought was funny, because he looks about the same age as Dr. Spock. Does the mind thing. He shows him some video when Dr. Spock sacrificed himself. You get to see that thing again, so to repeat it. And that's when you're getting on that Dr. Spock can get resurrected. He can get resurrected. However, he has to go back to the planet Generalist. Now you get some new villains, that being the Klingons. Again, they update the Klingons look, and I love it. And you get one date villain. And if you think you've seen the actor before, think of the actor that played Doc in Back to the Future. He also played in the later Piranhas film, the remake one and 2. He's been down a lot of things. I like him in this. He really does play a damn good villain. He plays a character you love to hate. And it does show you that the Klingons don't mess about. When they mean business, they mean business. You got one Klingon, you get that idea she's a female, very big breasted, but that is what I'm looking at, but that's not the story. She self-sacrifices herself, blows up the ship, and they're now after terrorists. And this shows them how bad they are, because they break out to find Spock, Captain Turk, and so on. And you remember his son does appear in this. You've got a different actress who played the female Vulcan, who we all know played a well-known actress. And at the time, I think it was doing Runaway, saying this, so she couldn't do this. So they changed the axis. You know what I'm about? Thinking I want it paid in taste. And so what happens is the Tinkons Tatser, they find a longer version of Spock anyway, because they go to Tenerife, they find the coffin's been opened up. And it kind of reminds me of this. I always wonder whether Starman, remember Starman? Came out saying there with Jeff Bridges, used this idea because you see a very childlike Falcon, you've got the idea it's Dr. Spock, and he turns into a teenager. So the Tinkons, as I was about to say, Tatser, Captain Tita's son, and the Tatser, the female Falcon, and so on. And they're fetting in, they want Tenerife, and this funny time was bitty ballsy because they're going to stab the Falcon woman. Captain Tista's son has an epic fight with one of the Tinkons, gets stabbed and gets killed. And it's kind of sad, really. We all know the actor that played Captain Tista's son is sadly no longer with us in real life. Sadly, he passed away. So it's that hard one to watch. But for its time, I thought that was a bit ballsy because you never thought that was going to happen. Captain Tita's son gets stabbed and gets killed. The one from the Wrath of Time gets killed in this. So I imagine even back then it was like a soccer. But I do love the performance over here and sat in the dust, you know, he's crying, he's emotional, he falls on the floor in socks, looks like what we'd probably doing. He's crying, he's showing anger, he's swearing. This is pretty good. I mean, it was a good performance what Ian Sattler did. He calls one of the Tingons a Tingon bastard because, you know, naturally they killed his son. You can actually see a good performance there. So they beam up to find out what's going on. The Tingons break into the Enterprise, but there's put an actual bomb in the Enterprise because they know they're going to destroy the Enterprise anyway. So just like the Wrath of Time, you saw the death of Spock. As sad as it is, you see the death of the Enterprise. You see the Enterprise get blown up. But I do love the fight scene in it. He fights with the Bond who played Chuck. And this is what I love. I'd love to see something like this in the Wrath of Time. You know, Captain Cheetah fighting with Sam and killing Sam this way because it never happened. It was just a dogfight. Enterprise versus their ship in this, so it isn't. It isn't. So the Tingons fighting, the planet's falling to pieces. I love to see where Captain Turk says, "I've had enough of you." Kicks him, kills him, and they break into the Tingon ship. And I love it because that's all right, leaves the opening when they do the fourth one 2 days later. So the everywhere at Spock now is our mate, back played again by James Seymour, and they celebrate happy ending, and I love it. I love Star Trek fear. There's no fault for it. The search for snot, as I call it. Let's be reality is it's the search for Spock. So I do love it. I think it's a classic. I still think it's a good film today. It's kind of sad that the Enterprise gets blown up, but as we all know, when they got to the fourth one 2 days later, that's not the case. So it's not bad for me 84 marathon. I'll still be going on for other 80s films and so on. And if you like what you hear or you like what I talk about, let me know if there's anything you want me to talk about. If not, sub to me there. Press that magic button and sub. I'd love to see an extra sub. But yeah, that's Star Trek 3. The search for Spock, into them. Be smart. Be safe, and I'll see you later.